think there's a lot of opportunity right now for people that are helping with AI transformation. The business that Matt is in of your a service company, and I'm seeing what we're basically seeing is SDR teams are getting. So what we're seeing is that companies are hiring a lot of talent globally, and they're using AI. So basically, two themes that I see from a buyer perspective are companies are reducing headcount by using AI technologies, but they're also cutting costs by hiring talent in Latin America, which is 75% cheaper. And that also frees up, we see a lot of demand for fractional experts. So companies now are more comfortable hiring somebody at 10 to 20 hours a week at $500 an hour, and they're hiring then an SDR for $2,000 a month in Colombia, and they're using AI. So I just think that people are now the board of ingredients you have for go to market is not just whatever's in San Francisco. It's now global talent, AI, and people are, people will have one guy in San Francisco that's meeting people, old school, and they're hiring teams in Latin America, just trying to be efficient. That's what I'm seeing.
And I'm showing up as an investor for the last 30 plus years and consulting for as many years, coaching businesses for the last 15 plus years. And I started this space that we call Peers on Demand as a way to be able to connect with leaders and be able to do business, refer business, even co-ventures. And my big idea was to be able to have a space that we could communicate and connect. So my invitation that you could join peersondemand.com either as a provider of service or client of services or both. It's online, so it invites people globally, different industries, different locations, different experience levels, as well as join any of our events. This one is geared for CEOs, but it's not limited to that. It could certainly somebody that's running a business would help. Tomorrow we'll have it for entrepreneurs and also on Thursday for consultants and Friday for presidents of company. Different titles, but it means that we want to discuss doing business. And my third invitation is that you might join our community business longevity partners. The opportunity is to be able to work with companies that are transient or transitioning and be able to help them reassess where they're at, remediate, and get them ready for exit or money or private equity or investments. So that's the direction we're going, and we want to invite you to participate and work with that. So if you know of a company that's selling or transitioning, and all companies are transitioning, but those that want to work with us, certainly love to be able to discuss that with you so that we can invite you to be part of the remediation process or any one of those processes, the money part, the fixing part, or the assessing part. Those are areas that we could work with clients and compensate you for that. So founder of 5 companies, raised over 100 million. He has 3 companies now. He's written a book. There's a lot to say about you, Bob, but maybe you could give us your ideas. That might be better. What's a big idea in your business or your industry that we should be aware of? Bob
Well,
Norton.
our big idea is trying to help more companies break the $10 million sales barrier. Most people know that 80% of startups fail approximately, but they don't know that only 1 in 400 companies ever reaches 10 million, and only 1 in 6,300 reaches 100 million in sales. So we work with the ones that have a large total addressable market, or TAM, that's $1 billion, and they're generally venture capital worthy because they have something new, disruptive, and most importantly, protectable. So I have been building now for 20 years the intellectual property, and we have 6 systems that we drop in. Jim Collins says it took the average great company from his study in Good to Great, the book, 8 to 10 years to figure out their internal systems. And we will help companies do that in 1 year with a combination of training, coaching, and consulting by dropping in our 6 systems. So, I believe literally not a hyperbolic statement that any company can become $100 million company and even $1 billion company. And that's enabled by investing in innovation and having a slice of your revenue going to skunkworks development. And that's one of the 6 systems that we do. The others are strategic planning, what we call PAMS, a performance accountability and merit system, which is a bucket of management philosophies, collected from over 1,000 books over my entire career, dashboards, process management, human capital acquisition and development, or culture control. And we will spend about 6 to 8 weeks training, coaching, and consulting to implement each of those. So I believe we can have a much larger percentage of companies growing to substantial companies. And as everyone probably knows, founders hit their head on a certain size limit, and they keep doing things the way they did it in a sort of dictatorial micromanagement kind of way. And we help them begin to use much more sophisticated leadership and management techniques. I also co-wrote a book with the father of leadership, Dr. Warren Venus, who passed away in 2012.
But how does a business make money in this environment with a lot of technology, a confusing administration, with a lot of developments, cryptocurrency, constrained investments? How do we show up as a business? You've got Dapa that started a business for himself, Jim that's looking for a business, and Gerard looking to invest or put money somewhere.
Yeah,
Any
I
thoughts?
think the answer to that then is that the number one word is differentiation. You should literally have no competitors at market entry. Some people will say never say that to a venture capitalist because they won't believe it. I believe the exact opposite. I believe that you have to narrow your niche to the point where you have no competitors on market entry. And of course, have some core value proposition that's protectable, whether that's copyright protected or patents protected. We teach 17 different ways that will add a moat or barriers to entry around a business. Most companies depend on one, and they probably ought to be using half of those 17 because it will raise the wall much higher, and that drives up the price to earnings ratio and the exit number that you can get, as well as, of course, the valuation during your growth phases so that you can bring in more money with less equity and dilution for the management team. So all of that falls under the heading of differentiation, I think, Rocky.
Yeah, absolutely. Who provides the most value? Let me open it up to see if Matt or Dapo or Gerard or Jim have any questions, comments, thoughts, feedback for Bob.
I
Anybody?
guess it would be, is there like is it just through your network that you find, those sources that help you elevate your business to the next level? Is that more of a consulting piece? How does that work?
Network of vendors that we work with. One of those is Rocky. I mean, I'm a regular here, and Rocky has a process that he can mention that uses our systems and network as well for remediation, and we're here to exchange ideas with people as well as make recommendations and networks, and that's all done at no cost for people to meet. Before, earlier in the call, we were exchanging ideas about the newest version of Chat GPT 5 and sharing experiences. So some of that, obviously, at the senior C level, strategic level. But I will pull in fractional CMOs and CFOs and those kinds of people because we only do our one thing, and we have a network of other coaches and consultants and product providers or vendors that we will bring in when we identify the problems, because our job is to help fill out the management team so that the organization can continue to develop. Obviously, we're not going to roll up our sleeves and try to write the sales plan and the marketing plan and the financial plan. We're building the team, and it's very much a teach to fish approach. And what makes us unique is the combination of training, coaching, and consulting. Those individually have high failure rates, but when you do them all together, you get what we have, and we're the only management consulting company in the world that guarantees to add $10 million to a company's valuation with a 6-month engagement. And it will be much more when that compounds over time. And if they do the 12-month engagement to install all the 6 systems, the first 3 systems are needed to get to 10 million. The next 3 systems are needed to break 10 million and be on your way to 100.
Matt is a specialist in AI, artificial intelligence, has a platform. And maybe, Matt, you could share what are the big ideas in your business or your
Yeah,
industry that we should be aware of?
I think the big idea is the AI ecosystem network. And like what Bob was saying, you gotta have a unique competitive advantage, not the same old stuff everybody can copy in a matter of hours or days. And this is where we actually architected the platform, not just one solution or point solution, but actually all in one AI ecosystem network solution. And that's a big deal because most companies, you see it from a Y Combinator, it's all about building AI agents, one app, and that's it. And anybody can copy in a matter of days. There is no competitive advantage. And this is what I've seen I'm in Silicon Valley Bay Area, that you gotta build out a unique competitive advantage that makes it very hard for anyone to copy. And this is where we actually take advantage of all the platform we built over the last 15 years. Easy Expo, we built up. Now we created a AI ecosystem network. It's a SaaS platform, but this is not just SaaS platform. We actually give away AI applications so that we can help everyone to save 80% on digital marketing costs. Uh, I actually put together articles in the last couple of weeks educating everyone at the C levels. I had to have a great meeting with multiple private equity investors. I'm also a fractional chief AI officer of a private equity firm. This has to be educated at the top because the C level, a lot of the middle level managers, they are so stuck with their old model. They're refusing to change because they want to protect their jobs, but the AI is going to be disrupting their business if they don't change. That's why I see the opportunities for companies like Rocky. You're doing it with uh, taking advantage of the AI revolution and look at the legacy system companies that have not moved the needles on the AI, and this is the opportunity for them to we streamline the overall operations and make it more uh, leaner or more flexible and boost up their 10x or 100x, leveraging their partners and customers. Instead of one company doing all the solo marketing, now you have a group of companies, partners all moving together. That's a big, that's why the Forrester and KPMG said 75% of B2B leaders are betting on ecosystem, period.
And private equity's betting on AI, about $1 billion a day is what I heard.
Yeah.
So Matt, you're also working with some medical companies. You're also focusing on training or educating 3 million students. Can you say more about who's using the platform,
Well,
Matt?
that's another big idea, right? I mean, we all know that there's a big gap, there's a big vacuum on how we can educate the non-tech folks. Not talk about people from OpenAI, but actually the non-tech people. They have no idea what other than ChatGPT, what do they do with it? So we actually partnered with multiple uh, uh, organization, nonprofits. One of them is a Christian community. They are affiliated with 3 million members. What we're going to be doing is providing a all-in-one entrepreneurship boot camp program, including the training, including the tools, everything they need. They don't have to go elsewhere. So that by the end of the program, they can actually start using the tools and implement the training. Now, one of the sweet spot they can do is the AI crowdfunding. Well, there are millions of nonprofits out there. They are desperately looking for sponsorship. Well, that's why we come in with a solution. In fact, by before the end of the program, they should be able to recover all the tuition using our platform and do the AI crowdfunding at the same time helping thousands of nonprofits supercharge the fundraising with our program. That's the whole idea. I think that's very exciting because this is the way how we can fill in the missing links. On the
Well,
medical side, we apply the same thing for the patient education portal, working with healthcare agencies and filling the missing link as well.
I think
Yeah,
very deeply about AI. I own an AI marketplace, so I sell AI technology, remote candidates that have experience with AI, fractional executives AI. So I get to really see what works and doesn't work just based on buyer side and seller side demand, which is great.
Gerard, you're focused in loans, providing loans. I wonder if you could say a
Yes.
little bit more. Who is the ideal? Well, maybe you could say what are there big ideas in loans, big opportunities in your industry? I know a little about that industry, but I do know money.
Great
Gerard?
question. Great question. I will typically go after real estate owners who have, you know, uh, properties they want to acquire or they have refinances coming up. Every once in a while, we'll come across a business that needs a line of credit, but majority of our stuff is through, individuals who have a portfolio of properties that, are in need of, financing. And
All
so
right.
as far as like when it comes to technology, I know it's coming, but I guess it's a question of like how to take advantage of it. I do have someone who works on our team. He's pretty familiar with, AI, and she's starting to incorporate some things, but it's interesting because, I haven't really like scratched the surface in comparison to what she knows about it, but I'm definitely eager to learn.
Well, we're all going to learn one way or the other. It's here to stay.
Yeah,
So I put your LinkedIn profile on the chat box. We
I
do work
appreciate
with
that.
clients that are looking for funding, private equity, investing, but certainly loans might be a possibility.
Do you have a business challenge that you want to talk about? Because I'm very much like business challenge. Here's the solution. I could give good advice if I know what any kind of, I kind of heard the
Oh,
high
that's
level.
a great question. Yeah, I guess my challenge would be connecting with the real estate owners,
Yeah,
especially when their loans are maturing. Like we have a database we use. It's called Realonomy, which is similar to Credit IQ, which scrapes the
to data
CMBS
provider.
market.
Yeah.
Yes, and they unfortunately a lot of the times, I would say 70% of the time, it's like the wrong phone number or the wrong email. So the biggest challenge is actually getting in contact with the correct, Robert Jones, who owns this property on Main Street, and getting the opportunity to earn their business to give them the best price that's being available in the
Well,
market.
how do you reach out to them? You don't mind me asking. Is it
Through
email or is it cold
phone,
calling?
yeah, through phone, emails, or if it's a big enough deal, I'll drop by their office if it's
Cool.
local.
So just quick tactical advice. I sell a lot of data. So I actually I had like yesterday I had a live podcast with Henry from ZoomInfo. So I've been selling Apollo ZoomInfo, SalesBot, and a few other data providers to the marketplace. I would just suggest that anytime you send any cold emails, you go to an email list verification or never bounce and clean it. Because if you send any cold emails that have higher bounce rate than 1%, you'll get blocked. So um, just tactically wise, you should want to clean the emails
Oh,
before you send
nice.
them. Send no more than 25 per day. And then another option that I'm working. So I have a newsletter right now. I'm very fortunate that when I sell software, I get it for free because I sell it. So I'm just lucky where I could see things. I use Beehive for my newsletter. I have 170,000 people opted in,
Wow.
and I suggest too now that just like roundtables, people don't like cold emails, but if you create a newsletter that talks about the problems that you solve, you might find that you can get a lot of these people to be part of your newsletter, opening it, reading it, and then call the people that are opening it. But happy to take this offline, give you advice or via WhatsApp or email anytime. I don't want to
Oh,
hijack
that'd
your
be
call.
great. I greatly appreciate that. Thanks so much, Amir. I'd love to take advantage of
Big
that.
ideas, big opportunities. You talked about being able to generate a lot of revenue. What's going on in your industry and your business, Amir?
I'll tell you the biggest idea about generating a lot of revenue, and Matt Falk can probably agree with me. Have a really good product, a really good service that helps solves real business challenges and does things faster, cheaper, more efficient, and you'll succeed. What that's the overall thing, and I think just having a clear offer with people. But I definitely think there's a lot of opportunity right now for people that are helping with AI transformation. The business that Matt is in of your a service company, and I'm seeing what we're basically seeing is SDR teams are getting, so what we're seeing is that companies are hiring a lot of talent globally and they're using AI. So basically, two themes that I see from a buyer perspective are companies are reducing headcount by using AI technologies, but they're also cutting costs by hiring talent in Latin America, which is 75% cheaper. And that also frees up, we see a lot of demand for fractional experts. So companies now are more comfortable hiring somebody at 10 to 20 hours a week at $500 an hour, and they're hiring then an SDR for $2,000 a month in Colombia, and they're using AI. So I just think that people are now the board of ingredients you have for go to market is not just whatever's in San Francisco. It's now global talent, AI, and people are, people will have one guy in San Francisco that's meeting people, old school, and they're hiring teams in Latin America, just trying to be efficient. That's what I'm seeing.
Voice agent actually be able to call out to
Uh,
follow up for meetings.
yeah,
So that's
Matt,
a big change, you know.
I want to add something to that. I'll add one thing to the person who said that you can't get good deals face to face. My one company is Expensify in San
Not what I
Francisco.
said.
They've been
Not what
they've
I
been around
said.
me for they've been around me 8 years. They had 48 account executives. They got 12 left now, and it's 8 years later. And I shook their hand and met them. To Matt, to what you said, so we have buyers coming trying to hire AI dialers. And when it doesn't work, it's startups with no market brand and no research. I have one client called Datadog, which is $1 billion company. I didn't think AI calling would work, but I listened to some of the calls, and the people picking up the call know it's AI, but they would literally hear Datadog and they'd be like, "Yes, I've been a fan. I've been reading your blog for the last 10 years." And they book the meetings because these $1 billion companies invested so much money into community and blog. So I think AI is really helpful for enterprise companies, and I think startups that use it can hurt their brand.
Close this off, I want to thank you for joining today and the opportunities, of course, that you could join in a month. We do this on a monthly basis with CEOs, but you don't have to wait a month. Tomorrow we'll have it for entrepreneurs. On Thursday, we'll have it for consultants. I love those people, as well as Friday for presidents of companies. But also, too, if you know a company in transition, and you probably do, all companies are in transition. The key is whether they want to work with us. We reassess where they're at, we remediate, and we get you involved in remediation and compensate you for that and get them ready for transitioning, either financing, private equity, investments. That's my invitation that you could join in a month, work with us and our business longevity partner, and also connect with each other. So with that.